Well, thank you. Thank you all for coming. We were supposed to have this incredible deluge, but looks like maybe it's holding off just for us. I love Man and Woman. You do a tremendous job here. It's a beautiful space. And it's very exciting to be able to come down here. I was actually at the print show, Discover Graphics show. Where did you go? I was a few years ago, yeah. But that was the first time I'd been down here. I was just knocked over by the space. So congratulations on doing such a good job. As Joy said, I'm an artist myself. I'm a printmaker. I just took a painting class this last term to humble myself a little bit at the Art League School. Realized I couldn't paint. But I enjoy making art just as much as I enjoy working with artists. And I got a magazine the other day in the mail, and I never look at these things. You know, it's called Professional Artists. I don't know if any of you have ever seen it. Actually had a couple of articles in it that I'm going to quote from. One of the articles in the piece was called The Beholder's Eye, What You Should Know About Judges. It has it like 1, 2, 3, 4. But I thought that was really useful. I don't know what to expect about judges. Having worked with, I don't know how many jurors over the years, you can't ever expect what a juror is going to do. It typically, when a juror walks into the room, they're going to bring their own point of view with them. There's no way you can avoid that. There are non-objective, objective things that the juror tries to do. You try to look at things that relate to the elements of art, color, shape, line, but you're going to bring your own point of view to the table no matter what. So there's a subjective part of it. And I know it's frustrating to artists, but if I looked at the work today, I would probably pick some different pieces than I did when I was here previously. Just because everything's different no matter what your point of view is. For you, you might like something that I don't like at all. Every artwork is individual, every artist is individual, and please, if you didn't get in, I think everybody got in, didn't they? I hope so. I'd be happy to talk to you about your piece. So I try to look at some objective things, but again, my own voice, my own experience is going to inform the choices that I make. From the article called Take the Blow of No, Deal with Rejection, and I'll leave this magazine here just for your information. I thought this was a great article because I've been rejected a lot lately as an artist. Learn to embrace rejection. Don't you love that? Yeah, don't take it personally. And you know, I think if you have a piece that you really believe in, and I tell artists this all the time, don't give up on it. Enter it in another show. It might be the best in show in another exhibit. Mona told me that she had entered this piece in the Art League, so I don't know why it didn't get best in show before. It's a fabulous piece. Then the last thing they said, put your best out there, and I think this is really timely in terms of Muhammad Ali's death yesterday. No fighter, no matter how successful, wins every round. So keep going. What is the artist trying to say? So if I look at Mona's piece, I immediately see a narrative. I see a story behind that piece. Can you all see it over here with the blue ribbon? It's called Ma Belle. And it's got a really wonderful quality of kind of nostalgia because of the old phone box. I don't even know if we have those anymore. And even the foliage, it's got some terrific texture that speaks to the smoothness and the kind of technological aspects of the cords and the wires. Just some great contrast there, nice use of negative space. So it really spoke to me. As did a number of other pieces, by the way, like the duck over here, the pastel. It's a really wonderful little piece, just makes you smile when you look at it. Right behind this fellow in the blue shirt, there's an honorable mention. Black and white photograph, very nicely done. And this one also tells me a story. I want to know who this guy is. What's he doing there? How did he end up here? What's the relationship between the photographer and the person sitting on the bench? Just really fascinating. I'll start with Sally's piece over here. I just want to go down that path and see what's down there. It's really draws you right in. It's really a nice piece. And I like the foliage because the lines just kind of move. They've got their own life to them. On the second place piece, Pen and ink drawing just knocked me over. I didn't even realize that's what it was when I walked up to it and I started looking at it. The texture of the line, the detail, the technique. So this is the second thing I'm going to look at as a juror, is the technique. That one is a stunner in terms of technique, as all three of them are. But I was really bowled over by that particular piece and the number of hours that it would take. And at the same time, it's kind of abstract. It's really a nice study in terms of shape and form, line, contrast, all of those kind of objective things that we try to look at. So that's the second thing I look at, is technique. How well did the artist accomplish what they were trying to do? And the third thing we look at, I'm sorry to tell you all this, is presentation. And the one piece that I took out, it was because of the frame. It's so frustrating sometimes to see a wonderful piece that has been framed poorly. I relate. Tonight I'm going to go home and try to find a frame for the piece I'm entering in the art league tomorrow. So if you're like me, you're like at last minute, taking stuff off the wall, pulling it apart, trying to stick stuff in. And as artists, we need to treat our work with respect. It's easy for me to say that, I just can't do it myself. And some of you, now I think walking around the room looking at the show today, really impressed with the framing of all of these pieces. There's nothing that I can fault. Really done a good job. In terms of framing, everyone, the simpler the better. You don't want the frame to overwhelm the piece. You don't want it to be dirty. You know, presentation is really an important aspect of your artwork, and think about that when you're doing it. I think it's hard for sculptors to look at presentation because, you know, you come into a show like this, all the sculptures are on a table. So I'm not really, I don't have a chance to take one aside, set it apart, study it, look at it. So I had to just look at all of them together. And fortunately, there's some terrific sculptors. This piece looks really nice all set up. I don't know who did that. Who you guys, when you set it up, it turned out really well. The fourth thing that comes into play occasionally when you're jurying a show is there a theme? So as the organization having a show about landscapes, you aren't. This is not a thematic show, but that's the other thing that sometimes you have to deal with when you're in a juried exhibit. So the juror has to say, well, how well does it fit the theme? You might come across a piece that you really, really love, but it has nothing to do with the theme. So we couldn't put this in a landscape show, for example, even though it's a terrific piece. The last juror said this one time, and it really spoke to me. One of the things that's hard to do when you're jurying is to not miss the small, quiet pieces. I'm going to point to a piece on the mantle over here, this little book. Very well presented too, by the way, so I don't know who the hangers are. That would be something that you would probably walk right past because there's so many, look at the great big wonderful pieces that are around it. But you've got to stop and look at the small things and listen to them as well. Another example is the horse over here. That just had a really intriguing story again for me. I wanted to know what was going on outside the barn. I know what's going inside the barn. So I wanted to follow into that piece and see what was happening. Let me talk about specifically, let's see where shall we start. Oh, this great painting of the daisies over here. Who is the artist? Right here? The line of those flowers have a life of their own. They're just alive. You know, they look like they're doing something creepy, I'm not sure what. Technique is excellent, but those flowers just come alive for me. I really enjoyed that particular piece. Nice job on that one. That's an honorable mention. So we talked about Sally's great piece. I love that one. And the duck. Love the duck. Beautiful technique. Great job on the photography, everyone. Some really fine photographs. I was impressed. Talking about quiet pieces, right by the doorway there is one of those tiny little landscapes. And I think did I see that one online? Or somewhere I saw it published. And I couldn't believe how it drew me in even from a great distance. It's really a stunning little piece. Simple, but the use of space, the colors just knock you over. It pulls you right over there. Harriet's monotype. This has got some wonderful layers to it, in addition to the texture that she uses when she does that. She also has an etching in the show over here that's really beautiful. She's a master printmaker, and I can't expect anything less out of her, but that's a really nice piece. And the barn is a terrific, this is one of those where I was talking about the narrative. What is this story? This looks like, okay, can you all see it? It looks like someone's just coming back from the farmer's market or from the garden or something. He's carrying this bunch of fresh carrots. And in this particular case, the story that's behind the painting really becomes the most important part of that piece for me in terms of why did I include it in the show. It's just a really unique viewpoint, and it's got a great little, you know, twist to it. I think it's a fun approach, especially the painting on the barn. That could have just been left white, but it's very faded. You know, it's just got a great, nice quality to it. There are some in the back here as well. Shall we move you on back here? The photograph back in the corner here. What a stunning photograph, just in terms of detail, the quality of that image. I don't know what size you used, what kind of, you know, was it a digital image, was it film? It's just a phenomenal photograph, and just the addition. It would have been good even without the mountain goat, but then you see that mountain goat turn around looking at you. It's like, just captured that moment. What a great shot. I don't know if that was luck or if he just sat there all day waiting for that guy to show up. Nice Bars de Pura's watercolor. This one I'd like to talk about the movement. If you look at this, watch these white planes as they move back through the painting, drawing your eye right back into this little building that's out on the island. Probably a station to put gas in your boat, but just could have been very simple, but she added this storyline almost that pulls you into the painting and really moves it. So you've got a lot of movement, some great negative space. Some of the abstracts too, I didn't see a lot of abstracts in this show, but they had some great use of negative space. There's one right around the corner here. And the last one I'll talk about today is this sculpture. I was really, as I said before, knocked over by your sculptors. Where are you guys hiding? I haven't ever seen these things before. This moves. I'm not going to give it a spin. I want to take it home. So does the other one too.
It's for sale.
Very, very nice. Yeah. I mean, and this piece is just a knockover. The quality in all of the sculptures was pretty amazing. Can I touch this?
Yes,
Is the artist here?
Yeah, that's fine.
Did I do it right?
Yeah, well,
okay.
This whole thing moves.
It just does.
It can set them, yeah.
Yeah, the craftsmanship, the quality of this is, how do you get it around? Did you have to?
Oh, that's the part very easy. I can take it
Really?
for 5 minutes.
I need this. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I've used some sculpture in my life, but look at the use of negative space here too. You can tell I'm big on negative space with this thing. Wonderful, nice use, and not just movement with your eye, following the piece around, but the pieces actually move, so it adds a whole nother dimension to it. Love seeing sculpture, and so much of it for such a small show. Excellent. So from the article again, I found these really great quotes. Like, sorry to keep throwing them at you. This is from the one about judges, what to expect from a judge. And I tell people this all the time. In the end, it's a gamble. So go with your gut and keep doing what you do. Make art you love.